Show me a guy that's happy losing, they're a loser. But that's why I like sports. I like football. I like law. I like politics. Somebody wins and somebody loses. And isn't that what life's about? I love my job. Get up, go to the office, go to court. I feel good. There was only one time in my career, a few days, I was like not feeling happy.
Welcome to this episode of Bourbon of Proof, where we interview those who've been both successful at law and life. Today we are live from Los Angeles in the bike shed. Hey guys, give a round of applause here. Round of applause. We have on Hollywood's finest-ish Mauro Fiore Jr. as our co-host. Yes, this is episode 6 of 7 for the day. We are almost there.
Which means I am up.
Yes. We also have on This is a Hall of Fame trial lawyer who was inducted into the Hall of Fame 2 years ago. 2 years already? You were inducted?
I was there at
the big Hall of Fame.
Something like that.
This guy's won so many awards. He's had roasted by famous comedians. We've seen it all from Brian Panish. We're going to see if we can make you maybe cry. Just kidding. But we always start with a bourbon pour. So Bourbon Will, straight from Charleston, South Carolina. Can you come out here and let's start with the first pour. We have 3 luxury selections for Brian Panish.
All right, so we're going to start.
Bring out the good stuff.
Yeah, we're going to start with the WhistlePig PiggyBank Rye. So this is a 10-year special edition rye. So WhistlePig does a normal 10-year, comes out all the time. It's always available. However, the PiggyBank is a exclusive rye. So it's a little bit different than your normal 10-year rye. It's gonna have very different flavors. It changes every year. They put it in a custom box that looks like a PiggyBank. You can toss and change if you want to. You don't have to. But as I like to tell people, it comes in an exclusive bottle. If you like to drink from the pig's ass, this is the bottle for you. It is absolutely fantastic. I have this exact same bottle at home. It is one of my top, I would say, 3 ryes of all time for you, hands down.
So, Brian, you have to take from this bag of holding an ice stamper. This will stamp your ice. If you get the Sleepy Woogie, you got to take 2. Just put it on your ice, push it down, and it'll stamp it. You got the Sleepy Woogie. Yes. Mauro Fiore gets a Sleepy Woogie, takes 2 double pours. Just push it in hard. You're there, Brian.
Gonna kill me,
Justice HQ. I got Fiore legal again.
Justice HQ.
You got Justice HQ.
Okay.
All right. So, obviously, if we could show, look how beautiful this gold pig is that you're going to drink out of the butt of this pig. Look at this thing. So, obviously,
I've always been known as an ass man.
That was the ass pocket last episode. Obviously, pigskin, football. We're going to take it back to Brian Panish when he is at Fresno State playing a defensive back. You were a defensive back.
Like a linebacker, though.
But it was like a linebacker.
But everybody ran. They didn't pass like they do now.
Well, now they pass a lot. But hey, first of all, cheers to Brian Panish.
What were your playing days stats? Give me your stats. What were you?
6'4", 210.
Really? God damn.
Oh wow, this is fantastic.
6'4", 210. It's like Steve Atwater.
Hey, this is Bob Simon, the host of Bourbon of Proof. This tour we couldn't do without our sponsors.
And we'd like to thank Clio. Clio is a case management platform that's vertically integrated to everything from legal research to your integration with attorney share to be able to do artificial intelligence integrations with everything you're doing. Thank you to Clio, the case management system that I personally use, that I love. Thank you for sponsoring Bourbon of Proof. And our local sponsor for Los Angeles is none other than Quest Settlements. And we have Rosa, who is the founder, CEO, and everything of Quest. And we want to thank Rosa for everything she does for our community and our clients. You know this man has football fields named after him?
Yes, at the Bosco High School.
St. John Bosco High School Braves, top football program in the country.
You know, the first time I was ever on a private plane was this guy's plane.
Really?
Flew up to San Francisco, Candlestick at the time, to watch the Steelers play the 49ers on a Monday night game. And bet your ass that's whenever the lights went out in the stadium, there's some kind of short. And me and I think it was, must have been Ryan Casey or somebody else, we were downstairs at the hard alcohol bar and they wouldn't let us out because you can't bring hard alcohol to the seats. And then we saw the transformer blow and me and him looked at each other. We ran back to our seats with all the hard alcohol and we were sitting there waiting. It was awesome. But yeah.
Hey, this WhistlePig is really good.
This is good. I thought you were going to bring the Redbreast 25.
We have
for me.
another Irish whiskey for you. Calm down. So now you have a family legacy of trial lawyers. Your dad,
My dad,
you?
my brothers,
and now
my daughters.
your daughters.
Wow.
But my son would be the best lawyer of all, but of course he would rather be playing poker in Asia on the Asian Poker Tour.
God bless him. Leave-
Mauro, the guy right after your heart,
He's
Mauro.
doing what he loves, man. Hey, man, I believe that. Find what you love and let it kill you.
No, we're lucky. We all have great jobs that we love. We represent people. We do good for everybody every day. And we don't tell anybody, but we would do the job for free.
Yeah,
Actually,
I love it.
I always tell everybody my dream job is to retire back to just only trying cases, not giving a shit. What a lot of people don't know is when I started my trial lawyer career, I would work with other lawyers to learn how they do it, steal their shit, but really be immersed by it. So the first high 7-figure case I tried was with Brian Panish, and no shit, we went into his office on a Friday, we walked in on Monday, he knew the entire file. This guy has a photographic memory, don't let him fool you. By the way, look at this jewelry from his championship days at Fresno State, look at that. He knew, I'll never forget when he says, he goes, this is one of them peanut butter and jelly cases. It's like peanut butter and jelly. I could do this in my...
It's like a snack at recess in kindergarten. Peanut butter and jelly. And we still call it PB&J.
He walks in with Spencer Lucas and me and my twin brother Brad. We file a notice of association the day trial starts. And I'll never forget the judge looks at defense and says, "You're in trouble now. Mr. Panish is here. He ain't gonna settle." And the look on this defense lawyer's face.
I love that.
And I'm a younger guy. It's probably my 5th trial, but it's my first really big one. And we're sitting at counsel table, and they bring in this jury, and Brian's passing me notes. He's giving me sticky notes. This is 2013 or something like this. And I'm like, man, Brian Panish is sending me a note next to me. Like, this is really important.
You know what I remember?
No.
We got the first of all, it was a low policy. We got like 10 times the policy limits. They thought they were going to be smart and file bankruptcy. The only problem was now all the properties that they owned, and this woman owned a ton of properties, all went into bankruptcy, and it was all right there for us. But the best story of the case is we take the jurors out across the street of the downtown courthouse to the bar.
Kendall's?
Yep.
Yeah, and we're down there and we're all celebrating. We're having a good time, most of the jurors. And we go back and we take a picture outside, all of us. And going behind in the picture is the bus, and on the bus it says, "Accidente, Juan Jose Dominguez," in the back of the picture.
I love that.
I still remember, so they actually put that in their new trial
That was in
motions.
their new trial brief,
They're
how
like,
that was illegal.
They took the jurors. The judge is like, "You're allowed to talk to the jurors after." But Mr. Green was the foreman, the guy in the game. But Brian, he passes.
Bob, I would say I remember the first time I met Brian. I think it might be 2002, 2003. I've been around a while. I met him at Dordick's house when Dordick lived on this house on Linden in Beverly Hills. He had a pool that had you go down the stairs and there was like a glass and you could see the people swimming in the pool. First time I'd ever seen shit like that. But I was friends with Gary, and Brian came to the party. Gary was having a party, and at the time he still worked at Brown Green's office. So what year was that, probably? 04?
Well, it would have been before that. So I started my firm in like 04. So
yeah, so 03, 02.
Yeah.
First time I ever met him, and I just remember, because I'd heard a lot about him, and he was getting tremendous results at Brown's office. Killing over there. So it didn't surprise me when I heard he took off, started his own place. But that's the first time I met him, I remember. And we were a lot younger and a lot thinner in those days.
Getting back to that, Mauro.
All of us.
So are you.
Trying.
You're working hard.
Trying.
You're looking good, man.
Trying.
You're working hard.
So the note that this guy passes me, the name of the defendant, it was the Ephraim Sobel Trust. And he writes me this note that says, Ephraim. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? So the judge, she starts reading the jury instructions, talking to the judge. She's like, what's the name of the parties? And this guy stands up, looks right at the jury, goes, Your Honor, it's Ephraim. Like, Ephraim. I'm like, the jury, right then I was like, that's it. This is how you win the cases. And Brian would go to ask a sidebar in the middle of trial and say, Judge, are you gonna let him perjure himself in the courtroom? So the first person we call in the trial is this an 85-year-old lady in a wheelchair. And they bring her up. We call her under 776. And I say to Brian, it's like, they're bringing her up in a wheelchair. I was like, I just took her deposition on the second floor of my office. She wasn't in a wheelchair like 2 weeks ago. Brian's first question is, who's that guy? And there's a guy in the back of the courtroom that wheeled her in. And she's like, my insurance company gave him to me. First question. Then he's grabbing this lady's purse. What's in your purse? You have checks in here. Like, she's pulling out checks she wrote to our client that she said didn't exist. They're in her purse.
I love it.
But anyway, that's
It turned
the
out good, and actually what happened was the judge never ruled on the new trial motion. She kept working on it, and she settled the whole case. So it was good.
The last case I tried in long cause was with her, Judge.
She's a good judge.
So Brian, like, tell us about why the are you still working? I mean,
I'll tell you why. I love my job. I have a lot of kids, and my wife likes to spend money, you know.
Well, those are
but I
good,
really-
very valid reasons. I have similar concerns.
I have no divorces, but I love my job. Every day, there's never a day when I get up, go to the office, go to court, I feel good. There was only one time in my career, there was one case I was in, a few days I was like not feeling happy. But other than that, a lot of people, they go, oh, I got to go to the office. I love to go to the office. I mean, I know you guys are virtual guys. I'm an old school lawyer.
I go to the office. I live 5 minutes
office.
from
in
my
the
office.
COVID, I was in my office every day, shorts and flip-flops, doing depots, standing depositions, working out all the time, having a great time. For me, other than people dying and sick in COVID, COVID really helped me kind of reinvent myself and my practice. And I think it was a good thing. You know, the use of the Zoom and the technology and the efficiencies, we're not where we need to be yet, but we made a lot of progress during COVID.
all right, so we're ready for the second pour. Now we're going to take you back, way back to your Irish side of your family. We know you're big into Ireland. We've seen you there. I've seen you
Oh, I
at
have
the
some
pubs.
good stuff for you on that.
So where's your daughter? Is Diana here? Can you come do a guest pour with your dad? Because she was the reason he took the Nevada bar, by the way. And, he actually sat for a bar. Mauro, did you know?
Oh, yeah,
he
let
sat
me tell
for a
that
bar.
story.
Did you?
real
He
quick.
sat for a bar.
So I was maybe 5 years.
Can we get a glass for Diana, please?
Hi, I'm Bob Simon, host of Bourbon of Proof, and we would be nothing without our sponsors. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Coastal Research. Coastal Research has the ability to find the policy limits of any corporation that's trying to hide assets and how much financial responsibility is actually out there. The beauty of Coastal Research is that it also integrates with products such as Attorney Share, your CRM, products like that. So shout out to Coastal Research. Again, we only let people sponsor the show if we use and believe in their products.
You don't drink whiskey. That's nonsense.
No, you're going to dishonor the
You
Irish
got to
side.
drive me home.
I did go to school where WhistlePig is from.
Over in Vermont.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've had it, but
They actually, my favorite bar where she went to college was called the Whiskey Room. It was great. Oh, it was great. Great place in Burlington, Vermont.
So Diana also a lineage of athletes. So what, you play soccer back east?
soccer, yeah. In University of Vermont.
Diana was all CIF first team, 3-sport, 4 years varsity, college scholarship, University of Vermont, top of her law school, working for us now. Now, it wasn't such a smooth ride. There were rocky points at times. But Diana's done great, and she's been in 2 trials with me.
Wow.
One was 135 million, and the second one was only 34 million.
Oh,
Wow.
But the guy was 82 years old.
you know, a good friend of mine, Rhett Miller, the lead singer of the Old 97s, his son Max Miller is a graduate. University of Vermont, he graduated last year, and now he's getting a master's degree there, and he's going to go to law school.
It's a
So
very beautiful school.
It's a nice
A
town.
private ivy. They call it a private ivy. But let's go
Lovely.
back to the lineage.
Let's go back to the whiskey. By the way, WhistlePig is in Vermont, so the first
Yes.
taste you have, we can give you a little bit of that, Diana, if you wish. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
all right, let's go.
So we're in Ireland. So we're in Irish whiskey now. So this is Midleton, very rare. So this is more of like a high-end Irish whiskey. So Irish whiskey, of course, has to be made in Ireland, right? Very different from the bourbons that we're used to drinking in the day. Exclusively made in Ireland. An Irish whiskey is typically known by being what's called a pot still whiskey. So it is distilled in what is called a pot still. right? So it's got this giant, huge base for it. It's just going to have copper tubes on the inside of it to help cool that whiskey. So as it's evaporating, it's going to then condensate in the top of that tube, where the alcohol is going to then, you're going to catch it, right, and turn it into alcohol. And then but it also gives pot stills give a very specific, I tell you, a flavor. You don't see a lot of that in the bourbon world, right? You're going to usually see what we call a column still. Column still, you can constantly, it's nonstop running. Pot still, you're going to run it, you're going to finish it, you're going to clean it out. It gives a very unique flavor out of it, which is what you get out of that Irish whiskey for the end of the day. With that being said, when you usually think of Irish whiskey, you think of Jameson, you think of Bushmills. Midleton, I tell people, is the hidden gem out of your Irish whiskeys for you. It is absolutely fantastic. It's not giving you a Scotch flavor. It's not giving you an American whiskey flavor. It's the perfect in between for you at the end of the day.
So Will, we brought from Charleston, he also takes every drink with us. We're on show 6, so I'm just impressed. He remembered all of these things. This is, do you know who got their paws? The reason that bottle looks like this is because Dan Kramer got his paws on this.
Kramer, that drunk?
Yeah.
He's the worst. You know what, man? You got to keep him away from Rudorfer and Glassman. He's going to ruin him.
All right.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Are you
All right, so
drinking?
Brian, you got to do, can we do the cheers? Oh, you got to do it in Gaelic.
What are we doing?
Gaelic?
How do you say it in Gaelic?
No, I can't.
Santa.
Yes, thank you,
I know that. All right, so let me just give you a little bit.
That's really good.
So, my mom, Mary Patricia Murphy, was born in Brooklyn, New York. Her parents, my grandparents, Mary Ellen Murphy, came to America through Ellis Island.
Wait, your mom is Mary Ann Murphy?
Mary Patricia Murphy.
Oh, I thought, the judge, yes.
So she came, my mom's grandma, my grandmother, Mary Ellen Kiernan, and my grandfather, Bernard Ambrose Murphy. I'm named after him. Bernard in Gaelic is Brian. My grandfather lived in a town called Longford, 1 hour south of Dublin. He still has many siblings, 11 kids, siblings of his that had the kids that never came to America. Of those, and I don't have time to get in the whole detail, approximately 8 of them are lawyers in Ireland and England. That are
They're
actually,
the Order of the Wig or whatever they
one
call
of them is a King's Counsel.
Wow.
One of them works in Jones Day, London. And my cousin, my mom's first cousin, was a very famous lawyer. And he was famous because in the north of Ireland, when the conflict was going on, before they reached the treaty, basically the IRA was formed, and the people in IRA would be caught, the confessions would be beaten out of them. And he was part of a commission, 2 Catholics, 3 Protestants, and he was always fighting for more rights, and he got the right against torture for criminals passed in Ireland, so he's very famous. All his kids are lawyers. Now, my grandmother, her first cousin, Kitty Kiernan, was engaged to Michael Collins. Do you know who that is, Mauro?
Wasn't that a movie, Michael
It
Collins?
was. And Michael Collins
great
was
movie.
the guy that liberated Ireland from England
Wow, so
and
thank you to the Panish
signed the Declaration of Independence in the Shelbourne Hotel in Dublin
Did they
in
get married, though?
1913. Before they were married, he was 22 years old. 14 days after Ireland got independence, he was assassinated.
Wow.
Kitty Kiernan. And my great-grandfather was a big IRA organizer. So then my grandfather's
So
family...
fighting's in your blood, man. I mean, this
Well,
is
now...
lawyering and fighting. And
Fighting,
this is why I got this
lawyering,
Mike
and
Tyson.
drinking.
Mike
And drinking.
Tyson signed gloves up here, right? Waiting for somebody to sponsor something
So
special.
Diana and I went to Ireland one time, and we went to the pub.
It was like a
they
gas
owned.
station.
It was
bar.
a gas station and a pub.
Do you have a photo of this?
Yeah.
Oh
Put it in
yeah,
the
we
show?
have great
I have-
photos. I have great photos.
Not right now. We'll put it. We'll
Who,
give it.
who
a
owned
Put 'em
the,
for
who owned the
promo.
pub?
His relatives.
Well, we're in the bar.
It's like a half
So we
gas
go
station.
into the
half
bar. First, we go to the house where my grandmother was born. We go into the room.
Yeah, the
And
room
we
she
go
was
into
born
the
in.
room she
No
was
hospital.
born in.
Wow.
And I tell and they say to me, Brian, You know, Brian, we know you're a Kiernan. I said, why is that? He goes, well, you got the gift of gab and you love the Guinness. We're in the bar. It's in the day. No one's there. And they call the daughter Lassie. They go, hey, Lassie. You know, Lassie. They call the women, they refer to them as Lassie. And she takes us in the bar, and she's pouring the pints. Now, my cousin, Michael Kiernan, he only gets half pints because he drinks a little too much. But he can drink 2 half pints faster than you can
Tell
drink
them
1
about
pint.
what businesses they were in.
What?
Tell them about the businesses they were in.
The what?
The businesses they were, what they did.
Oh, he says, you know, Brian, we're in multiple. I go, what kind of businesses? He goes, well, you could see the farming. They have a farming, and the foundry. We have the only foundry. We raise thoroughbred horses,
Nice.
and of course they're into horse racing, the Irish. He says, well, where we really make the money, where we really made the money, smuggling.
Smuggling?
Smuggling. I go, what are you talking about?
Bourbon of Proof would be nothing without its sponsors, and we'd like to thank Attorney Share. Attorney Share is a platform where you can share referrals and track the status in real time, straight from intake. It also deals with all of your co-counsel compliance, so you can work with your co-counsels and track the status of everything going on in the case. And there is nothing better than a case referred from a trusted source. So join Attorney Share for free at attorneyshare.com. We'd like to thank Justice HQ, which is the mobile app for everybody in the legal industry to be community builders. You could be building your private or public community, have events, have content that is on demand, living forever, and most importantly, connect with all of your mentors across the nation. And the subscription is only $20 a month to stay connected. We'd like to thank, well, my firm, the Justice Team. Justice Team 844, the team, will find you the best lawyer across the country in any specialty. Reach out today. I mean, you might get to talk to me or my AI avatar. Today, we want to thank Fiore Legal. Ganes Oy. You could win today with Fiore Legal, your partner in California, Washington, Arizona, and now Oregon. Fiore Legal specializes in car crashes, slip and falls, motorcycles, and probably have tried more cases than most humans on the planet. Thank you, Fiore Legal. So Diana, we're gonna play. We're gonna tell you stories about your dad,
Okay.
and you have to say, is this true or not true?
Okay.
And if you get it right, I'll drink.
Okay.
If you get it wrong, Mauro has to drink.
Okay.
So I like this one. We're gonna do it out of the. Actually, I like this Midleton. This is good. So we're gonna do the very rare. All right. First one about your dad. Your dad refused to even accept a settlement offer from the other side. Didn't want to read it, didn't want to hear about it because he wanted to try the case until a judge ordered him to open up the envelope to take the settlement offer, which was granted, and then he just tore it up and threw it in the trash. True or false?
True.
That is true. Mauro has to drink. Brian, is that true?
You must have had
Yes.
some good client control on that one.
Is that true?
It was true.
True. Actually, you should have to answer because these are just like
This is
fables
like-
of your dad.
They made an ex parte motion against me to relay the offer. I said, already the judge, this is baloney. You can't do that.
That
All right.
sounds like horse shit.
Next one, true or false? It got so heated with defense counsel that they were both in the men's room. Words were exchanged. A towel dispenser may have been destroyed. And that lawyer went and ratted out to the judge, who later exonerated your dad and said he did nothing wrong. True or false?
I think it's true.
True. Kinda.
This
Not
is
exactly.
kinda true. Drink again, Mauro. I don't even like, these are just fables. These are stories.
That was all in the same case.
I've heard like
was
a few similar stories.
Same
to
case.
that.
But it was in Oakland. You know, Oakland's tough up there. You know.
Oakland stuff. All right, so this is the last true or false, okay? When your dad goes out of town to try cases, he wears the same pair of socks the entire trial and does not change them.
He does a lot of weird stuff, but I think that's false.
Oh shit, is that false? I think it's false.
False.
False. Oh, no, I
Thank
gotta
God you
draw.
changed your dirty socks.
All right.
Really superstitious though.
Okay, so this is the last true or false. I'll give you one more. Your dad has had a $1 billion verdict.
True. Yeah,
True.
Well,
a while ago.
it was only
but
5 billion, but who's
It was only
counting?
5 billion.
Who's counting?
True. So
Actually,
that
that's not true. It was 4.907, but the 7 was 7 million.
Yeah.
So, Will, we need our last pour to celebrate and talk about product liability, why we try these cases, and where's Rosa? Rosa from Quest Settlements, who's sponsoring this episode. Round of applause for Rosa from Quest. Thank you for sponsoring. And by the way, all proceeds today go to the fight against the rideshare initiative to hold them accountable to everything that they're doing. Rosa, thank you for coming on up here. We're going to hear about your badass story after a pour, because I think a lot of people don't know about how much that you will not put up with shit. And I've been on emails with her that she gives, like, even to like defense, like she was like, quit around. Why are you wasting so much? I was like, damn. All right. By the way, I'm CC'd on all of these emails at the firm, and I do see them, and I was like, wow. Good for
Sorry
you.
about that.
All right, so Will's going to tell you about this last bottle that
Yeah.
we have, and I'm going to tell you the backstory, because this is going to play.
All right. So this is Revolution, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. So again, we're talking about bourbon. So bourbon, a lot of different aspects have to be met to be bourbon. Bourbon must be a minimum 51% corn, must be aged in America or made entirely in the United States, must be aged in a brand new American charred oak container, minimum 169 proof or less off the distill, 125 proof or less on the incendiary proof, and then nothing added except water to the whiskey. With that being said, this is another world on top of that. It has another layer of rules that have to be met. It's called Kentucky Straight. So Kentucky Straight means from start to finish, everything that enters this bottle must be aged, started in Kentucky, aged to finish out of Kentucky. Once you do that, you can label it as Kentucky Straight Whiskey for you. This is a 5-year whiskey. It is going to be at 90 proof, so we're looking at, right under the edge of the 100 proof. I tell people the sweet spot, right, for you. But it's going to be bold. It's going to be very powerful whiskey for you on the flavor profile.
All right, so this also has the picture of a tire burning on it, right? You see that? So a buddy of mine, Bill Ogden, hit a New Mexico verdict on a product liability case for a defective tire for $145 million. This showed up at my door the next day to say, can you have a pour with me to celebrate my verdict? He's in Texas. First thing I thought about was the biggest product liability verdict probably ever. Was it the biggest that you've had, $4.8 billion?
4.9, but who's counting?
4.9, and this is also 20, add inflation. So
That
what
was
did it
1999.
1999?
Yeah.
Shit, I was still in college.
July 9th, it was OJ's birthday.
Really?
Wow.
I was
That
a lawyer at that time. I remember that case. Carl Douglas was on that case. Christine Spagnoli was on the case.
There were a lot of people on that. It was a 6-7 plaintiff case.
Did Carl Douglas really wear a purple suit one day to that trial?
Absolutely.
He did.
You want to hear the story of that?
We're going to hear the story.
Thank you.
But cheers. This is to the
Carl-
revolution.
Carl is a
This is to
gentleman.
holding every product that is unsafe accountable. Look, I would love if we were out of work on product liability cases so that things were so safe shit didn't happen.
Cheers.
I want to hear the purple suit story. I thought it was a joke.
Carl dresses kind of wildly anyway. And the GM was bringing their big expert. And I'm like, Carl, you got to wear all purple. We need some distraction. And I mean all purple, including the shoes. So he came with the full-on purple suit.
Straight
But that-
pimp. He was straight pimp suit.
Total. But it wasn't as good as when he wear these bumblebee, I call it, like a yellow. He looks like a bumblebee. And he wear this tie. So trial been going pretty good. We're in a couple months into it. It's a Friday afternoon. And they're calling their main expert. And I just felt that we needed a momentum changer. We needed something to really change the momentum. So I tell the lawyers, don't worry, it's going to be great on Friday. So we start, and we get to about 11:20. They're experts on the stand, and all of a sudden, some of the jurors are like, hey, and they're pointing out, hey, look over there, look over there, look. All of a sudden, the doors open, and in walks Johnny Cochran Jr.
Really?
to the trial. And oh my God, the jury And everyone, you haven't heard that part?
I did not know that he
So
walked.
then the defense lawyer, the jury goes out. Johnny comes up to Chris Bagnoli, gives her a flower, puts his hand on my back, blessing the case. At this time, this is post OJ. He's working in New York, Court TV with Nancy Grace. It's a pretty popular show, and he's living in New York. So the defense lawyer, God rest his soul, he was a hell of a lawyer. All he did was try General Motors fuel-fed fire fatality cases around the country. Excellent lawyer. He throws his pen against the wall, and he says, I've seen it all. These lawyers will do anything. and then Carl says, oh no, Mr. Simpson is coming on Friday. And I said, no, Carl. And if you remember the OJ trial, every day in the criminal case, they would roll in OJ's mom, Eunice, in her wheelchair, and she'd be looking at the jury, and if OJ was convicted, she would lose her home in San Francisco that OJ had bought for her.
Yeah.
So her name was Eunice, and Carl says, no, OJ's coming. No. Eunice is coming. And from then on, during the trial, we had Eunice coming? Eunice coming?
And it reminds me, like, we were trying the case, I talked with Brian, he kept telling, after he got rid of the defendant in the wheelchair, every day he'd tell the defense, you mess around, I'm bringing the old lady back in the wheelchair, I'm gonna call her again. Every day he would threaten him. So Rosa, thank you for coming on, thank you for sponsoring.
Thank you for having me.
People do not know how much of a badass you were professionally before you took this on. Like do you know this about her?
No.
She's like federal agent badass.
Federal agent?
She'd be on the airplane and be running shit that you'd even know, right?
Rosa she tolerates me, you know. We're not really friends, but she tolerates me.
That's a good thing.
Well, you kind of grow on her a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But
You're
Rosa,
growing on me.
you've helped a lot of even my clients. We do a lot of work together in Arizona, miners comps.
We just did a big case with Rosa and Brian.
We did.
Oh, you guys finalized that case?
With
And
one
not to be
defendant,
discussed.
there's
Lucas.
another one that's even better.
Lucas did good.
There's another defendant that's even better.
It's not over yet.
But and I also see in the crowd Mauro's tax lawyer who's going to help him with those proceeds. I saw him lurking somewhere.
Sterling's
It's an important guy to have.
So if you need to invest
Sterling, come up here. Let's
What,
get
you
Sterling
got
on.
some like
Sterling
windmills?
Sterling
windmills
is
for him to invest in?
Sterling is a
There he
tax
is.
planner.
Actually,
Hey, this is Bob Simon, the host of Bourbon of Proof. This tour we couldn't do without our sponsors.
Hi, I'm John Morgan. I didn't wake up one day with the largest injury firm in America. I started with one office and a choice: grow or die. I took calculated risk, built my team, and made lots of mistakes along the way, but also built systems and procedures to avoid those mistakes in the future. I'm doing one seminar, one time, to show you how I did it.
Join me at the Wynn in Vegas on June 9th. Use code PROOF20.
Actually, I'm going to ask Rosa and Sterling some questions.
Sterling here.
Rosa does structured settlements to take
structured
care
settlement broker.
responsibly of the client's proceeds.
This is my tax advisor, Sterling LeRiviere.
Mauro.
Le Riviere.
Rosa, we're going to go
Mr.
over
LeRiviere.
we entrust our clients with their money over their lifetime. You structure it, make sure they have tax advantages, that it's in a safe place.
Yes.
Would you ever counsel our clients to invest in giraffes?
What?
Giraffes.
Sterling, will you explain once and for all the animal investment?
Okay, so animals are treated like farm equipment. And exotic animals, certain animals, exotic animals are treated like farm equipment. So you buy one, and you basically get to write them off like accelerated
So
depreciation.
like what, a giraffe?
Giraffe,
How much does a
zebra,
giraffe cost?
kudu.
How much does a giraffe cost?
I don't remember the
That's
numbers.
how tall
but
it is.
Here's the deal.
They ran by the foot.
For the last 20...
So much do they sell them by the foot?
They've been appreciating at about 10 to 20% a year. So you get a depreciation, you buy it, and then right now the depreciation is at 100%. So I buy a
We're
giraffe.
talking giraffe depreciation.
Right,
I did not know this would take this turn.
I buy an exotic animal, I get to write off 100% of it, the one thing it does is it duplicates, right? They have babies. So what investment do you have that not only goes up in value, but self-populates with new ones every year?
Have you got Mauro to buy some animals?
I haven't, but I will gladly take any
he's got
attorneys.
he's got some animals.
We can do a weekend trip, and you can go down and see it firsthand. It'll be one of the coolest vacations you've ever
He has
been
his
on.
own safari.
We'll charter a plane. We'll take 5 of you guys at a time down there. We'll spend 2 or 3.
Where are we going?
We're going to go down to Austin, not Austin,
San Antonio.
San Antonio, Texas. There's 5 ranches.
Isn't that where the
that all have
tiger guy
exotics
was?
on them.
Yeah.
Wasn't the tiger
So
guy?
Rosa, would you ever? So are you going to counsel our clients to invest in snow owls, giraffes?
Yeah.
I think she's going to
Water
know.
buffalo.
Water buffalo.
Well, the thing is,
Water buffalo.
I mean, that's the wildest thing I do. I mean, let me give you an example. You can buy a piece of heavy equipment for a major company that leases heavy equipment. We buy the equipment on finance. You put $1 in, you get $5 worth of deduction. For every attorney, that's worth about 2 to 1. So every $1 that you put in, you save $2 in taxes. Okay, now that company guarantees to make the payments for you. You'll get an income return on that payment, and at the end of 5 years, you get 150% of your money back after getting a 2 to 1 return.
Rosa, what you do is
So that's a 300% return.
when our clients get a settlement, it's tax free because it stems from a personal injury.
As long as it is from a personal injury claim, the winnings are tax-free. If it's an employment case, wrongful termination, discrimination, that is a tax-deferred annuity.
But the interest the gains on their interest that put into your vehicle are also tax free if done right.
So structured settlements provide tax-free interest. So it's almost like a legal way of hiding their money. Tax-free interest, it's never reported to taxes. It's on the principal and the interest accumulated as well.
So if we took, hypothetically, if I were Mauro's client, I slipped and fell on a banana peel at the dollar store,
Yeah.
I hurt my back, and I got $2 million. Could I take it and put it into wildlife in San Antonio?
yes.
No.
Why
Yes,
could I not?
and we will be calling Sterling. Yes.
You could.
You could.
Especially with 100% depreciation first year.
That's
Yes.
the swampland.
Or here, I'll give you another one. We could take some money from Rosa. We could borrow it out. We could put it into another entity. We can now use the money inside that entity to finance future cases. Charge interest to the client if you charge interest, or we can take an option on the outcome of a case, guarantee the law firm a minimum guarantee, and the option. Anything that goes above the options contract, 100% of that money falls back into that fund that we pay no taxes on.
And you're talking about Mauro's money.
Tomorrow's
Right.
money, anybody's money.
Look, okay, so Brian, how about Brian Mauro? How about we just keep representing people in the courtroom, making money, and then these things work
And
themselves
Mauro's
out?
got to figure out how he doesn't have to pay any tax.
I've been doing this stuff since 1996, and I've never had a bad outcome.
Wow, there you go.
For
Wow.
lawyers,
Lawyers, business people. I mean, the tax code is the same. I mean, you don't have a different tax code because you're a lawyer. But I've been doing this around, these types of strategies where, we've literally taken hundreds of millions of dollars in deduction every year.
So one thing that I want to ask Brian Panish is, you travel all over the world. You do a lot of things and have access that nobody's ever seen before, ever. But you're if you walked into the room, you're still the most humble dude ever. And you come from a lineage of lawyers. And look, everybody tells the same story is, Brian Panish is a nice guy. He could show up in ratty shoes and in gym shorts. And this is the thing, right? You're just the same person. Why? Like, why don't you just
think-
cash out and do these things? And
I think a lot of reasons. Number one, I love it. Number two, you got to remember where you came from. My parents, a lot of siblings. All my brothers are lawyers. My dad was
mine
a lawyer.
too. Mine too.
My dad was
dad's
a lawyer.
not. Truck driver.
My mom was a nurse. My sisters, doctors, nurses. And, I had a good family. What was right was important to do the right thing. And the thing I love about the law is, like Edward Bennett Williams, who wrote a book called The Man to See. Edward Bennett Williams, who you know from D.C., was a famous lawyer, represented many presidents. He was the owner of the Baltimore Orioles and at the time the Washington Redskins, which is now the Commanders. He owned those teams, and he said in his book, he also is the guy that I got the Johnny Cochran thing from, because he was defending Jimmy Hoffa in a bribery case in the District of Columbia, and he brought Joe Louis in to hug Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa was acquitted, and he was the lawyer, Edward Bennett Williams.
I've heard this
He wrote
trick.
a book called The Man to See. My oldest daughter went to Georgetown Law School. It's all Edward Bennett Williams. But he said he lived his life contest living. They go, what is that? Well, he wants to win or lose. And in life, there are only 3 areas of life where there's a winner and loser. Now, you know, you play in the soccer, everybody gets a trophy. Everyone gets a participation.
Kind of like Trump getting his participation trophy.
Everything, everybody, you know.
Hey, take it easy, take it
nobody,
easy.
we don't want to single anyone out. It's not about winning. It's just everybody have a good time, right? Do you believe that?
No, I think you should have winners or losers.
Right, winners are winner, you know. Show me a guy that's happy losing, they're a loser. But there's 3 areas of life where somebody wins and someone loses, and what are they?
Trial,
Trial law,
sports,
sports,
Marriage.
politics. And that's the 3 areas in his life that he focused on because he lived that contest living. And in sports, you play a football game, you lose. You go one day, we had the 24-hour rule.
but soccer you tie.
And then you go right back to the next week. You're playing. But in court, you could lose a trial, and it could be forever. And if lawyers that lost trial were like football coaches, you know, these guys went coaching a team 15 years doing this, and he has a bad year, they fire him. Lawyers would be getting fired all the time because lawyers are losing cases.
Yeah,
and
you know,
it's about winning and losing, and that's what it is. And the competition is the best part of it all.
So you're just a competition junkie. Brian Panish has to win or lose. Brian Panish likes to win.
You remember the old
at
coach?
the end of the day.
The old coach from the Steelers and the Arizona Cardinals, Bruce Arians.
Yeah, yes.
He was known as the quarterback whisperer. He used to have a saying.
Tampa Bay
he said-
Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah, he
As a
did.
head coach. You missed this highlight of his career.
His saying was, "There's 2 types of coaches: ones that are fired and the ones that are going to be fired." You know.
Funny.
So that's it. You know.
Hey, this is Bob Simon, the host of Bourbon of Proof. This tour we couldn't do without our sponsors.
And we'd like to thank Clio. Clio is a case management platform that's vertically integrated to everything from legal research to your integration with attorney share to be able to do artificial intelligence integrations with everything you're doing. Thank you to Clio, the case management system that I personally use, that I love. Thank you for sponsoring Bourbon of Proof. And our local sponsor for Los Angeles is none other than Quest Settlements. And we have Rosa, who is the founder, CEO, and everything of Quest. And we want to thank Rosa for everything she does for our community and our clients.
But that's why I like sports. I like football. I like law. I like politics. Somebody wins and somebody loses. And isn't that what life's about?
Life is also about drinking with friends, telling stories, and being inspired.
And
Ladies
buying-
and gentlemen,
and
And you know they're
Giraffes.
doing a lot of that in sports.
thank you, Brian Panish, for being on the show. We should just do a war story
And
by
thank
Brian
you, Sterling.
Panish.
Sterling's from Financial Architects in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And Rosa.
Quest Settlements.
Quest Settlements.
So we use Quest all the time, and everybody in this room works with Rosa. Brian, thank you for coming on the
Thank
show.
you.
My
Super
pleasure.
Thank you for
Thank you for
sponsoring
having
Los
me.
Angeles. Hey, thank you for watching this episode of Bourbon of Proof.
Oh.